All right, what's going on, guys? Graham Jason Matthews here with Bleacher Report. And today we're talking to the SmackDown Women's Champion, the opportunity herself ahead of night one of WrestleMania. She's going to be headlining with Ronda Rousey. On the line here today, we got Charlotte Flair. Charlotte, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
Doing great. I'm excited for WrestleMania. We're about 3 weeks out from when we're speaking right now. Like I said, you're headlining the event with Ronda Rousey on night one, the match that we've been waiting years for. We're finally getting it. The last time we spoke last summer, you mentioned how SummerSlam last year was like your WrestleMania, because it was only last year that unfortunately couldn't make the show. You weren't on the event. You are at WrestleMania this year, obviously the main event, no less. How much does that mean to you to not only be back at WrestleMania this year, but to be back in the main event as well?
I don't know. There's just so many emotions, to be honest. Like WrestleMania 32 for me, winning the inaugural Raw Women's title, and then coming back and main eventing in the same stadium. It's like my career has come full circle. And then I remember in 2015, half joking, half serious, calling out Ronda at the time. And now we're main eventing. It's just crazy. And I remember I was so devastated when I missed WrestleMania last year. I mean, that's literally what every talent works towards every year, and then not being on it. And then coming back and main eventing, anything can happen. I'm trying to like keep my emotions intact because I still have 3 weeks to go. So it's like that week of, I feel like everything's going to hit me. But yeah, I'm excited for the opportunity, and Flair versus Rousey just sounds big.
Yeah,
And
it
how I
sells
picture
itself.
it, you know,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
It's cool. I mean, like you said, too, the cool thing about this Mania, like you said, is that back at 32, same arena, same stadium, same everything. That was your first official Mania. I mean, obviously, we technically saw you at WrestleMania 30 during the Triple H entrance, but like
Yeah.
your first match on the show was in that building.
Yep.
So I wasn't even thinking about that. It kind of come full circle, like you said. The nerd in me, here's some stats for you. I don't know if this has really dawned on you, but of the 5 WrestleMania matches that you've had, I don't think you've lost a singles match yet. And the only time you were pinned was in like a 4-way 5 years ago at 33, I think. Ronda's 1-1. She lost the last time she was at WrestleMania. That's got to give you some sort of an advantage, right?
Well, I'm the mountain that Ronda has to climb. Like you said, I've had multiple Mania matches before, and it's not that I don't even know how to put this. This is Ronda's moment to make a name. This is my moment to go out and steal the show and show there's only one Charlotte Flair in WWE. There's only one queen. Yeah, for me, it's, I just go back to Survivor Series and I keep replaying it. And that was only a taste of what we can do, what we could do. So to bring that back to Mania is more what I'm focused on.
Yeah, the cool thing about it too is that like you said, it's been, I don't think a lot of people realize this, is that you and Ron have had this on and off history for a long time. Like you kind of jokingly, half serious, half joking, calling her out back in 2015, the match at Survivor Series 2018. It was like right before that when Ronda first showed up. I think it was like maybe a month, maybe even before she had her first match at Mania. I think there were rumors kind of going around. All right, Ronda and Charlotte is like the main event for 34 or 35 or whatever it was a year later, which we technically did get, obviously, just with Becky involved as well. You kind of mentioned this earlier, but when you hear rumblings that she might be coming back, are you saying to yourself, all right, we can finally have the match that we've always wanted? And you guys did have that great match at Survivor Series, but of course, Survivor Series is not the stage of WrestleMania. So you go back 7 years. Is this like the biggest match that you've wanted this entire time that you're finally getting, that you're like, all right, I can finally cross this off my bucket list come WrestleMania 38?
Yeah. And I don't want to say that, my moments with Asuka, Sasha, Becky, and other talent weren't as big. And I don't want to take away from those moments, but I guess when you think of dream matches and for someone from another industry, it'd have to be Ronda. Because you're just like, because you know what she's done in her industry, you know what I've done in mine. And like you said, our names sell the match itself. So yeah, this is definitely one of those pinch me moments, check it off the bucket list for me.
And there's so much great talent on the roster as it is. Like you said, Asuka, Sasha, Becky, between both brands that you've had a lot of awesome WrestleMania matches with, dating back 5-6 years at this point. When you hear, again, like Ronda Rousey coming back, she is the biggest name from her industry coming over to the WWE side, having that first great run a few years ago, culminating at 35, coming back now. Are you of the mindset it's like, all right, having someone like Ronda in the fold is only going to benefit us because she is a big name and it's only going to bring more eyes to our product?
That's how I view it. Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
And
it certainly seems that way.
And I think what people don't realize, it's like she wanted to come here. We didn't, no one went after her. So everyone should be proud of what the women have accomplished here and the buzz that we created and the women's evolution and, being able to main event pay-per-views, Raw and SmackDown. And that's a testament to what we've done here, that she wants to come here and be a part of what we've done, what we have done, and also what she has done. So it's not like, people sometimes get critical of outside talent coming in, but that's like, no, she wants to be a part of what we've done here. And that should make you feel good.
Yeah. I mean, she's just one of those
division as a whole.
Yeah.
And she does bring more eyeballs.
Yeah.
She does bring more eyeballs, 100%.
Yeah, most definitely.
Or to people who aren't necessarily familiar with the product, like Total Divas.
Yep.
Total Divas brought outside viewers, and that's just great. That's great for us.
Yeah. No, it absolutely has. Like you said, and this is like a decade-long thing because that was almost 10 years ago, and we're kind of seeing it in different forms. Like you said, anything that benefits the product and gets more fans that aren't already previously watching or haven't watched in a long time is only a positive. And we're going to be seeing that at WrestleMania, not only with Ronda, but all the other stars as part of the show as well.
I want Bad Bunny to come back. Awesome. He was incredible last year. Yeah. So it's an entertainment show. It's what we do.
No, yeah, you're right. You're right. Bad Bunny was great. Hopefully we get to see a sequel at some point. I know we kind of saw him at the Rumble for a little bit, but at WrestleMania, that's got to happen at some point. It's crazy to think that initial match with Ronda, the first one-on-one match, was 3.5 years ago. I mean, to me, that feels like it was like last month or something. It's really crazy. I don't know if the pandemic made it shorter. I don't know, but it really is crazy to think it's been that long. For yourself, how do you feel like you've changed as a performer, evolved, or obviously you're still at the top of your game as you were 3.5 years ago, but what have you noticed the changes within yourself from late 2018 to where we are now as far as Charlotte Flair, the performer?
Just more confidence in myself all around. Not that I didn't have that confidence at Survivor Series, because I did. But there's nothing I haven't done. So I feel on top of the world, and knowing, just having all the experiences and facing everyone that I have faced, winning, losing. It's just I feel like I'm in my prime right now.
And the last time we spoke too, I know we spoke at the time, I think it was around SummerSlam. I don't think you were champion at that point. It was right before you had won back the Raw Women's Championship at Money in the Bank, and then later on at SummerSlam and all these other events along the way. Multi-time women's champion, obviously. We were speaking at that point how it was weird because up to that point in recent years anyway, we hadn't really seen like a lengthy championship run from you. I think people kind of get confused thinking that you're always the champion, but we never, like, we've seen you as champion for like a year straight, which we see your long title reigns all the time.
It's never happened. It hasn't happened since 2015.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I mean, we're finally getting one now though, which is nice. It's a nice change of pace for your character, which is great. Can you talk a little bit about this latest title reign of yours? If it's been what you hoped, what you haven't hoped. I mean, just some thoughts and some of the matches you've had. I mean, the match with Becky at Survivor Series, I was there. Great match. Tony Storm,
Don't
Naomi.
Jinx me. Money in the Bank is coming up soon.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, just talk a little bit about this title reign. Obviously, hopefully coming out of WrestleMania still champion, and your thoughts on how it's been so far. Some honest analysis of what you think it's been so far.
An honest analysis.
That's not to say to crap on it or whatever,
No, I think for me, I would have liked to have more title defenses on pay-per-views.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
But under certain circumstances, it was cool being the champion going into Royal Rumble because that's never happened before. Having that match with Naomi, I've been waiting for that match for 5 years now, and we finally were able to have it on SmackDown, like 3 weeks ago. I thought that was incredible, and I hate, it's so cliche, but I mean, that was only like a taste of what we could do, you know? That was only one match, so that was special for me. Survivor Series, you know, all I can say is number one doesn't talk about number two, but it was fun to revisit, you know, that, I guess, you know, the bitter best friend. But I think whatever I have done this entire run will be forgotten about after WrestleMania.
I mean, it goes both.
You know what I mean? Like, I think, like, I hate to say that, because I loved working Naomi. It was a pleasure being able to face Tony. I wish her the best. She has so much talent and is a star. But I think for me, it's just everything is, you know, everything will be forgotten once WrestleMania happens.
Well, it's interesting you say that. I think for better or for worse too, just with the way that fans work. I mean, you could have this amazing match with, I mean, even with Rhea Ripley, the match at WrestleMania 36, and with no one there was a great match and was one of the better matches on the show.
Money in the Bank. That's such an underrated match. Like, when I go back and think of like my matches, I go, oh yeah, Money in the Bank with Rhea. Like, it's one of my top favorite matches. I took an uninterested crowd, and by the end they were chanting, "This is awesome."
You're
with
right.
Rhea, who she's the future of the women's division. I tell her all the time. I have so much respect for her, and I know that our paths will cross again. But I forgot. Sorry, I had to bring up Money in the Bank. That was, even though I was the Raw. Yeah, I captured the Raw Women's Championship that night from her. But I do think after 38, or this is 38, right?
Yeah, 30. I get confused too.
I'm so sorry. Everything will be forgotten.
It's interesting you say that. Last question for you. I know we have a minute or two left here, but kind of going off that, it's wild with the way that fans work. You could have this great match, but it's like if people aren't a fan of you, they're gonna be like, oh, Charlotte Flair wins again. All right, but the match was great though, regardless of whether you're a fan or not. Like, you have to admit that. And people, I don't know, just the way some fans work, it is what it is. But like, have you reached the point where it's like, where it's going to be after you're done wrestling, where people really start to appreciate everything you've built up over the course of your career? Because even if they speak on your behalf, whether it's someone in the business or your father, or, you know, because everyone kind of takes everything that he says negative, just because he says your name, people are automatically going to dismiss it or whatever. Is it going to be at a certain point where you think people are going to start to appreciate when all is said and done?
I'm like, how do I answer this? In Charlotte character or not? I think I have been on top since 2015, whether I've been holding the title or not. And people don't realize how much pressure and hard work and dedication. And I've never been out for a lengthy time. One time. I've never had a major injury. And to be able to stay on top like that is a tremendous amount of work in our industry. And instead of looking at it from a positive, being like, wow, what a consistent performer. What a hard worker. It's just like, oh, she's always in the title picture. Oh, she always has the title. Like, there are a lot of title runs that I am not proud of, just because I didn't do anything with it. But if you look at it, it was multiple feuds with multiple women that I have dropped the title to. Like, one of my favorite matches of all time was a main event on Raw when I dropped the title to Bayley back in 2016, 2017. Like, 17. I you know, where I'm at today, I just go, it's not that they don't like the good, they don't like the best. Or there's like a quote I look at, and that's not exactly it, but it's like, I must be doing something right to always, you know, be talked about. Good, bad, or indifferent, right? And I don't think the same criticism goes towards men always being in the title picture. Like, I don't know what, like, in this business, you want to be the champion.
Yep.
It's not like, oh, today I don't want to be the champion. No, you should always want to be the champion. That's what you, that means that you are the hardest worker in the room when you are holding that title. So yes, I strive, like, that's, I don't understand the criticism sometimes, but at the same time, like, you know, my haters make me that much better, right?
Exactly. Great note to end on there, Charlotte. Thanks so much for the time. I appreciate it. Always a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you. Have a great day.